Hello, I'm Patricia McNeely. I am a Blue Ray Twin Flame Rod and Staff Union from Chicago, Illinois. How are you today? In this video, I want to talk to you about the 2020 to 2021 phase-in. We are in the preliminary phase here, which may feel like stage 10 to some people, but it's actually not. So I drew out a diagram to kind of explain it better and give you a visual of the way that some things are going, some of the things you may have already experienced or your other half has experienced. Now, sometimes you can only pick up on what it is that you are doing or what you're going through. And it's been that way for years because getting one of you at least semi-prepared has been of utmost importance. It is priority one. And the reason is this. I'm wearing it. You're an angel, okay? You're going to get your wings. And that's no small matter. That is actually a very huge thing to be able to embody these sides of yourself and still live life, still have responsibilities, take care of things, earn a living. And right now, worldwide, we are in this sort of really strange energy. I say that it's strange because it's unfamiliar, because actually it's been close to 100 years since anything like this has really taken place to this scale. Now, that too is a tie-in with the energy, because we're putting closure to a lot of things through this one thing that, people could just call it a virus, but there's several things all happening at work here and on multiple levels, because the energy now in 2020 is very different than it was 100 years ago. How does this play in with your personal life? In your personal life, this is intended to help you get better, but it also requires you to make some kind of an effort. And that's what I'm going to talk about. So over the past 10 years, we have had people, actual people, with parts of their life shifting and changing. And understanding after some changes happen or after an awakening that they're here for something more. They're here to do something. They're here for something more. What does that have to do with? It has to do with the fourth dimension and the astral plane and what is happening with that. There is an astral merge. So you are merging part of the astral part of you back in. That's where it gets weird for people, because this can trigger out a lot of things. What else happens though? There is good stuff that happens. You get the ego, which starts to dissolve the hardnesses. And this is when people will feel weepy, vulnerable. They'll feel like they want to get hard with people. They get afraid. They get very afraid because some of this stuff starts happening. There is a loss of realities, okay? This means that the life you may have known starts to disappear, and there's a new reality taking its place. You may have trouble perceiving the realities. Someone you're close to may have trouble with this. You start losing the realities, and emotions go with that. Sadness, weeping. If you identify with something and it goes away because you're putting closure to it, or rather, your soul is putting closure to it, that can be very, very upsetting. And yet it's not always a bad thing. So there are things that are happening that are actually intended to improve your quality of life and not keep you dangling. And if you feel like you're dangling, this is a very different feeling than an energy that makes you feel like you're being moved. It's actually sort of a drowning energy for some people. They're feeling trampled. They're feeling somehow bereft, left behind. This is bringing up all kinds of feelings. There is also loss of jobs, loss of money. This is going to happen more and more as people stay in karmic situations. If they stay with the wrong person, they're going to see a shocking drain of resources. It happens. Things start to break. Things break down because there's no love energy there to sustain it. Religious traditions, people start questioning that, or they start pulling away. It's not really you pulling away. Your soul is pulling you out of that small corner of the planet, of the world. As the world turns, you start getting pulled out of the places because you are needed for you. Traditional roles. This is an interesting one because many people will feel very third dimensional if they are female, and they'll be like, I'm woman. If they're a man, I am man. But what they start finding is that internally, the process is starting to bring out other aspects of themselves. Sometimes it's unfamiliar. Sometimes it's way too familiar, and people want to like go running with the ball all by themselves. What other scary things can happen? Well, along with the loss of realities are things that people pick up on, especially if it's been something having an effect. Black magic. Black magic, curses, things again of the astral plane. Do they have any real effect where you're going? Absolutely no. No. Your soul doesn't buckle under some kind of black magic mumbo jumbo here. Your soul is not cursed forever. So we need to move this along, especially if you've had somebody tell you this. Now you can feel it. You can feel feelings. You can feel blockages. I'm here to help that get moving because you're going to be out of time. You're going to be out of time for this. It is this time here right now. And I'm happy to say that not only do I have this information in place and already been teaching and helping people with it, it's official. It's very official. I have my 2 trademarks. I have all of my copyrights. My work is not only copyrighted, it is been reviewed, and it is officially recognized, so that I want to assure you there is a very good quality to my work. I have quite a bit. So let's get back to here, just so you know that there's quite a lot I know about this, and yet getting people where they need to go, that's really my, what you call my calling. That's what I love to do. Is I love to work with people. I love for them to be empowered. I love for them to tell me their fabulous stories of what else is happening, not just they met someone, because that might be the first part, or they felt an energy. For a lot of people, it comes in the dream time. They are dreaming the lover. They have a dream lover. And that's the only way that they have ever known about it. That is also my story. The only way that I've ever known started with me as a teenager having these highly sensual, erotic, but sacred level divine dreams of someone that I just knew I was compelled to meet, but I didn't know all of this at that time. And perceptions as a teen are also different than perception as an adult. How you perceive these things when you lived in a different level is going to be different than when you start to get to the new level. So, questioning things, questioning authority, questioning parts of your life, questioning where you're, why your parents, questioning your very existence sometimes. Why? Because there is a breakdown happening. And not only is there a breakdown, there's a breakdown for 2. You're breaking down, your other half is having parts of their life break down as well. And some of it's not pretty because it exposes a lot of the shadowy stuff. It is going to expose relationships with the feminine, relationships with the masculine, relationships to honestly the entire world. And while you may want to get off this place and out of here, that is what I teach. And that is part of the timeline here from May to the June solstice. This is a lot of what we're having happen. Now, in some ways, there is a wisdom to what is going on so that you could actually say, you know what, maybe it is a good idea to clear the area around the heart. Yes, I agree. However, the way in which this is happening is a little bit alarming for a lot of people. So what else is happening? Okay, so we have another season change here from June to September. And like it or not, even people that are very up on things in terms of their astrology readers, they too work with people, it's going to be their turn. If you're paying attention to this, it's your turn. But it requires participation. This is where, over the years, I have helped people who are astrologers, readers, people that do other types of energy work, because I'm the person who does have the very high level connections to be able to help and to help those people continue helping in their corner of the world and to keep things going. Now, what about June to September? Because we're not there yet. There's energies that are going to carry you through, and they're going to ramp up here and make you evaluate and prioritize the very things that are important to you. Now, I just did a class on relationships, and it was amazing at the transformations in just 30 days of how people's priorities really started to get focused. Okay, I'll use the word focus. And I'm going to say it again. Focus, focus, focus. Focus on the reality of what's happening here. Because when you do the work that I outline, you get rapid transformation. You get rapid results. If you're still trying to be a psychoanalyst and that's not your job, don't even bother. That might sound funny, but I've talked to a number of people that, they are not paying attention to body signals. And that's a part of it. You have to pay attention to body signals a lot. Now, June to September, many people will feel like they're between the realms. Some people will still be here, and they may go around on the next part of the phase. If you don't want to do that, come join, because there is a new level. At that new level, you need to refresh. You need to heal and seal up, because you have old connections that are not intended to drain you out, where all of your energy feels like it's still being siphoned off or diverted, or that someone else is using your energy. So pay attention to the people you interact with, because you can't get angry with them if there's a new way to heal those old connections and patterns, and seal yourself up. The men have their version of this where they get very put upon or drained, or someone is, literally pulling up to the gas station and draining their energy and resources. And women do too. And it doesn't matter if you're gay or straight, because it happens to gay and lesbian people too. And it's not all sexual energy. It is energy. It's your love energy that needs to stick with you. What else? Sealing up old levels, because those old and ancient timelines are not going to be helpful to you. You've already packed up what you need, and it's already been shipped onto your new home. What you're having happen here is a complete overwhelm of the things that are breaking down for you. And yeah, this is leaving people with a sense that they can't get their angel parts up and running, and their human part is stalled out on the highway of life with not really a direction where to go. I specialize in this. What else? Root clearing. This is going to include more than ancestral lineage things that are being healed, much more than it. And that's where it gets weird for people, because sometimes this is very painful. This can include foods, it can include drugs and alcohol, it can include relationships, it can include your own feelings towards your own children, where you don't really wish those kids weren't born, but you're just kind of like, why am I saddled with this? That happens. A lot of people actually get very upset about that. You will feel the need to breathe. Some people start feeling it here. They feel completely choked and that they can't breathe, and someone needs to be their lifeline. It gets very real because you're completely not having your levels anymore. You've actually collectively been moved a notch, and this is on purpose, because there actually is a divine plan here at work. The need to breathe. Your life goes on hold and you feel blind. And you can feel blind here. You're questioning more dark. This is where people have dark nights of the soul. Any of their darkness and shadowy stuff comes up to be gotten rid of and reviewed. And it's a scary place for a lot of people. But there is a new place, but there is this in-between space where you are literally between the realms. You can feel like you're between point A to point B, between the realms. It can feel like you're between dimensions. You can't feel your twin anymore. You can't feel your twin's energy. You feel abandoned breath. These sound like negative things, but the reason I'm mentioning it is not to rub it in. It's to make it clear to you that these are all things that you can't carry with you. You're not supposed to carry with you a sense of rejection. You're not supposed to carry with you a sense of tolerating bad behavior, narcissism, all of this other stuff that everyone's throwing around like that's a solution. It may be an answer, but it's not a solution, and it doesn't actually resolve anything unless it's for you to set a boundary. Setting a boundary keeps you somewhere here, okay? It does not get you here. You are in a new era, and in that new era, it requires you to get your angel parts up and running so that you can not only create, you can continually roll with the changes. And that was my inspiration. I kept hearing songs. How many of you get music messages where some lyric or part of the lyric is giving you a message? Well, I get it all the time. And this is an REO Speedwagon song, which I think is even more significant because it's one of those that I call a man's song. There's, it's by men, it's by a male rock group, and it's Roll With the Changes. As soon as you are able, woman, I am willing to make the break that we are on the brink of. My cup is on the table, our love is spilling, waiting here for you to take and drink of. So if you're tired of the same old stories, oh, turn some pages, get yourself to the new level. I'll be here when you are ready. So this is where your higher self is waiting to make a connection here with angel wings on and wants you to get out of floating around in this stuff here. This is going to feel more and more unhealthy, and it's going to feel more and more closed up like a little box. It's going to be like when you were a little kid and one of the neighbors got a large appliance and they left the cardboard box to play, and you played in that little box. When you're a little kid, it's fine. But if you're an adult trying to live in that refrigerator box, even if you said to yourself, I would be happy in here if my twin flame were in here with me. Sorry, it's not enough for your soul. Not enough. You're going to the new level, and you're not intended to be blind. You also have to open up your vision to another level. And that's not going to happen without some other things happening. So what do you need? You need proper air essence. You need body awareness. You need self-awareness. And you need to bring the spirit into matter. So these are all things that I teach along with other related topics. But I have a class coming up which is intended to be almost a crash course to get you to the new level. It is starting May 15th, Friday evening here in Chicago, which works for the West Coast, Hawaii. It works for Australia, India, Korea, Japan, many places that are west of the international date line. My evening, your next morning. Or Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. And this is the thing about it. I was pushed hard by my team because I'm part of a team from the Pleiades. We're having huge Lemurian healing, Palladian healing, Syrian healing, indigo rising, indigo masculine, healing. I use the word healing because that implies that it's gotten rid of. I don't like to use, like, we've waved it away with a magic wand. I'm a person that isn't afraid to, roll up the sleeves and get in there. I'm not afraid of people's fears. I'm not afraid of black magic. I'm not afraid. I've seen quite a bit in the years that I've been doing this. And, the things that shock me the most is when people don't. When people kind of meander around and they think that this is a given. That is not the beings you are. That is not who angels are. You might think of angels as very fluffy and flighty, and yes, we are, because that's our soft side. But trust me, we are action people. We're the first responders that go in there. How many stories have you heard where there is an angel that shows up at a scene of an accident and they just do one little thing that transforms the outcome? There's all kinds of these stories. That is some of you. And though you may feel earthbound, you're not intended to be stuck here. I know who you are because I feel your cosmic history and I feel your planetary origins and that of your twin flame. You have not always had the same experiences, but those experiences affect each other. If you have someone who's drugging here, the other one is going to feel it and have what feels like a mental breakdown. If someone is drinking here to excess, the other person is going to at least feel dizzy and brain foggy, and they will also feel a hangover. This is why we have lovers that are coming together where it requires you to be at a new level for full accountability. If one feels off, the other feels it. If one feels good, the other one feels it. If one feels completely secure in love and loved beyond all earthly measure, the other one feels it. You both feel it because that is the nature of unconditional love. It doesn't stop until you keep feeling it. You feel it and feel it and feel it until it is just in there and there's no question about it. So if you would like to join, please join me. The links are below. You can email me. I will be gradually phasing out, but Twin Flames Merge at gmail.com. Okay. Twin Flame Reconnection at gmail.com. Twin Flame Body at gmail.com. I hope to see you there. I hope to be bringing this message to a lot more people, and please subscribe. It does help. And I do know that there are people who've been waiting for quite a number of years for exactly this time. Be reassured that the thing I'm going to teach you is going to give you a sense of quantum time. And if you don't believe me, look at some of these little weather jumpings we're doing, okay? How does it feel to you? Do you feel like you've gone forward to the summer and then back to spring? Do you feel as though, you know, the weather is kind of like, you know, doing this? That's all a part of it. Don't let it upset you. Don't let it make you afraid. Please be confident that the grand divine plan to get you out of this stuff is here at hand. But you got to take some baby steps in order to avail yourself. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you there, and take good care of yourself. Bye.